our initial quantity is whatever is given to us in the question. We are given 2 yards, yes? So that is our initial quantity, whatever we are given. And then our conversion factor will either be given to us in the question or it will be something that you already know. If I asked you to convert between hours and minutes, do you know how many minutes are equal to an hour? 60 minutes are equal to an hour. So that would be a conversion factor that you would already know. Okay? So either given to you in the question or something you already know. So you are always going to set up your question in this fashion. You're going to write down your unknown. In this case, you would write down number of inches, because that's what we're solving for. So you write down what you're solving for. You write down your initial quantity, that's your 2 yards. And then you draw a times sign. So it's always going to be times. And then you're going to draw a line. And you're going to write something on the top of that line, and you're going to write something on the bottom of that line. We are starting with yards, but we don't want to finish with yards. We want to finish with inches. So we want yards to cancel out, and things cancel out if you have them on the top and on the bottom, right? So we can have yards. If we put it on the bottom, it's going to cancel out. And those 36 inches are going to go on the top, and guess what? That means that our unit that is left at the end after the yards cancel is inches. And that's how the conversion factor method works. Okay? Just so you know, this conversion factor method is also called dimensional analysis. Not that that's really important, but if you go to university and they're talking about dimensional analysis, you're like, what is this big long word they're talking about? It's just unit conversion using conversion factors. Okay? So I've put it in brackets in several places so that you've heard the term before. Okay. So any conversion factor, as I said, has to be based on an equality. Two things which are equal. You can always write two different conversion factors from any equality. Because remember, when we're writing a conversion factor, we write one thing over top of the other thing. And we can put the inches on the top and the yards on the bottom. Or we can put the yards on the top and the inches on the bottom, just depending on what we need to do with it. Okay? Both conversion factors are equal to 1. This part, if it makes sense to you, that's great. If it doesn't make sense to you, you can just kind of ignore it, okay? Because it'll work whether you understand it or not. But remember, 1 yard is equal to 36 inches, right? So if they're equal, I could actually take my 1 yard and I could replace it with 36 inches, yes? Because those two things are equivalent. And 36 inches over 36 inches is equal to 1. Okay? That's the reason that multiplying by a conversion factor always works, is because you're always essentially multiplying by 1, so everything stays equal. If I have 3 times 1, it's still equal to 3. But like I said, if that all sounds like, Greek to you, then you can just pretend I never said that and just carry on with it. Okay? Anywho, we'll just carry on there. What happens if you choose the wrong form of a conversion factor? So here is an example. How many feet? There's our question word, so that's going to be our unknown. Our unknown is how many feet is 35 yards. 35 yards is the information we are given, so we call that our initial information. And we are given a conversion factor between yards and feet. So we could write that conversion factor as either we could put the 1 yard on the top and the 3 feet on the bottom, or we could put the 3 feet on the top and the 1 yard on the bottom. We're going to set up our problem by writing down what's our unknown. Our unknown is the number of feet. Our initial quantity is the yards. And let's say that I chose this first version of the conversion factor, 1 yard over 3 feet. What happens if I multiply yards times yards? I get yards squared, yes? Yards squared. And then I've got feet on the bottom. The feet hasn't canceled with anything. So I have yards squared over feet. And what the heck is that? Like, that's crazy, yes? By the way, do you guys know what that exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point is called? That is called, like, it's not a, you know how there's like exclamation point, there's question mark, there's period. This is called an interrobang. I think there's 2 R's, which I just love. I think that's an awesome word. You do not need to know that word, but it's a cool word. It can either be like this, or it can be like this. That's called an interrobang. And it's like, what the heck? Okay. So you'll know if you're actually looking at your unit cancellation, if you chose the wrong version of the conversion factor, things just won't cancel out properly. We want to choose the version where the yards, which are on the top, we have to put the yards on the bottom. So whatever your initial quantity is, you want that unit to go on the bottom. All right? Yards cancel out and we're left with feet, which is what we wanted. Anytime you have a conversion factor, doesn't matter whether it's written right side up or upside down, you can always flip it. So if you write 24 hours per day, you could flip that and get 1 day per 24 hours if that's how you need to use it, okay? Why call this method dimensional analysis? Wouldn't unit conversion be easier? Heck yes! But that is how it is most commonly referred to in university, so we'll try to get used to that term. Why bother with this at all? I know I said some of this before, but it is literally the one skill students have come back and said, yes, I have used it in my everyday life. Oh my gosh, yes, so useful. Learning a skill works better when you learn and practice it first in a very simple context. You're going to find these questions on this worksheet. You'll be like, I could just do this in my head, Ms. Spence. These are so easy. Why are you making me write down all this nonsense? Yes, because I could do this in my head. If I say to you, how many minutes are there in 2 hours, you could probably just tell me 120, right? Why would I bother writing all of this down? It's so that you can learn to use a method when the numbers are really easy. So when you get to an example where the numbers aren't easy, the method will be like, oh, I know how to do this. I can like crank through these complicated things because I've learned it in a very simple context. It makes it really easy to see if you've made a mistake because, like I said, if you end up with a unit like feet squared over yards, you'll know you've done something wrong. It makes your work clear to your audience. I can follow along with what you have done, which is really important if you're looking for getting part marks and things. You know, along the way, you're going to have something that has 4 steps in it. And if you make a mistake in step 1 and you don't show your work, I can't give you any credit for it. But if you make a mistake in step 1 and I can see everything else is correct, I can give you like 3.5 out of 4 sometimes even. You know what I mean? It makes solving complex problems manageable. By about halfway through this course, this is the kind of question that you might be asked to solve. What volume of 4.0 moles per liter of HCl must be reacted with zinc in order to produce 3.5 liters of hydrogen gas? Well, you will have learned some conversion factors. Okay, you'll have learned things about the balanced equation. You don't need to know all this now, but you'll end up with an equation string, a conversion string that looks like that, which looks big and complicated, but because you've learned how to do that in a simple way, we can build up to complex problems like that. Okay, so we're working up to that. That's not until like 2 units, 3 units from now, so don't worry about it. Yes? Lots of time. She's looking at me like, oh my God, are we doing this tomorrow? We're not doing it tomorrow, okay? So let's try this one together. How many days is 360 hours? You are going to identify what is your unknown. What is your unknown? Days. What is our initial quantity? 360 hours. Do you know a conversion factor between hours and days? Yeah, there are 24 hours. Actually, I could write it like this, 24 hours per 1 day. You're always going to start by having your unknown equals your initial quantity times the conversion factor. Or we could more simply write that as the unknown is equal to the initial quantity times the conversion factor. This is the one step that if you don't write it down, it's okay. It might be helpful for you when you're first starting out to remind yourself that this is what you're going to be doing, but it's not a required step, okay? So this is not required. But we're going to use it because we're going to say, what is my unknown? Well, that is the, I don't know how many days, is equal to my initial quantity, which is 360 hours, times my conversion factor. And remember, I'm going to write times, and then I'm going to draw a line. So you'll often hear me say times line. And you want to put your units in next. What units do we want to have on the bottom? We want to have hours on the bottom so that it will cancel out. So we're going to put hours on the bottom. And that means we also want to make sure that we are finding days, so days has to go on the top. And we know that there are 24 days per hour, right? Huh? Is that wrong? Yeah. And you know that that's wrong because you know that number for your whole, like practically your whole life, right? Later on, we're going to have numbers where you need to learn that 6.02 times 10 to the 23 particles is equal to 1 mole. And I would guarantee there will be at least a few people who will at some point write 6.02 times 10 to the 23 moles is equal to 1 particle, which should at some point this year start to sound as weird as 24 days per 1 hour. Yes? It's like saying there's 12 dozen in one donut, right? 12 dozen donuts equals 1 donut. Like that just, it's nonsensical. But anyway, don't have to worry about that for now. We'll come back to that in a later time. For now, it's just going to be things you are familiar with, like 24 hours in one day. Cancel out those hours, and we get 360 divided by 24 is 15. Whoops. 15 days. And you should put around your final answer a box. I'm going to get you guys to do number 1 and number 2. Once you are done number 1 and number 2, you are going to sign out a Hebden Chemistry 11 if you have not done so already. You can take that home and leave it at home. Okay? Hebden Chemistry 11 is this book. It is a source of extra problems. Okay? Just take it home, leave it at home. You do not need to have it back and forth to school. If I use it in the classroom, we will have classroom set. Okay, so if you need to use it at school, we will have a classroom set. I'm going to grab your book cards so that you don't have to use a new book card. Okay, so try number 1 and 2, and then if you need to sign out one of those books, you can come and grab that. You did already. Yeah. Well, actually, there's just spares. You can just borrow a spare. Yeah. So we need John. Walker. There we go. Tiana, underpaid. Yeah. So it's one of those yellow ones over on the front too. There you go. Let me grab it for you. There you go. Yeah, that's our Angie, that's what I thought. And then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get it wrong. There you go. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, because you were away for the lab. Yeah. So If you finish numbers 1 and 2 and you've already signed out the book, you can continue on with 3 and 4. Okay. While you're waiting for what's going to happen next. Yeah. An American school. If you want to go to law school, you would probably have to take the LSAT. Well, yeah. There's also a GRE, which is I think the graduate one. Yeah. Because if you were to transfer, so you do your undergrad in Canada, yeah, and then you transfer later. Yeah. I'll obviously say go to that two day, and have to go to law, you do your LSAT. Yeah. Whatever. But I'm pretty sure there's like I think it's called the GRE, which is like the general med school. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Oh, that's from like years ago. Like that. Card here. There you go. And thank you very much. So you'll just go in the name of the book, which is Exponents 11. And you'll get yourself a book. And the number will be if it's good or satisfactory, so people look at it and see what it looks like, if it's good, if it's satisfactory. Oh, that's part of the first one, so it determines which one. It's like, you need to round your answers to correct sig figs. Yes, you do. Yes, I know. From now on, everything's to correct sig figs. Thank you. And books are on the card between the first and second shelf. But in chemistry, we don't care about vectors. We'll leave that for physics. Thank you very much. Yeah, that sounds right. It's been a long time, but it sounds right. Yes. Oh, but that's for the. So the conversion factors, these are exact, so they won't affect the significs because they have infinite significs and infinite. Yeah. That one has two significs. So that's not a conversion factor, right? So you have to look and say, this one, these two are infinite, but that one has two. Yeah. Yeah, we call the exact same. And they're like, this is cool. It's the worst thing in elementary. Yes. No whole cards, you gotta sit and watch whatever show you can watch. Now it's like, what am I missing? I am so screwed. You may go to the bathroom. Awesome. Oh my god, I forgot 1-0. Yeah? 1-0. Oh, I did that too. I did that too. Yeah, it only took me 8. Yeah. You're going to be getting into okay? and sit down again because I have some instructions for you. It is imperative that if you are taking chemistry, that you will be able to do significant figures in your calculations. So, to that end, you're going to go over the quiz in groups. In every group, there is at least one person, probably two people, who are sort of like experts because they've, either it was really easy for them at first, or maybe they've done this in physics before, or whatever. Okay? Your job within that group is to make sure that everybody understands exactly why each answer is the way it is. Does that make sense? So what we're doing is we're going to all help each other out. On these little sticky notes, I've got a list of 4 names. This is not your group forever. This is just your group for going over this quiz. So you can get to know some new people. Oh no, new people. We are going over the quiz. You guys are going to go over it with each other. So very much like when we did that little Poggle thing, you want to make sure that you are sitting like 1, 2, 3, 4, so you can all talk to each other. Yes? In this case, there's nothing like new that you're learning. You're just making sure that everybody understands. And then once you have gone through the quiz and everyone feels good about it, in the same groups, you're going to work through pages 39 and 40 in Hebden, the new book, pages 56 to 58, odd letters only, so that's like your A, C, E, and then whatever comes after that. And be sure that each group member can do each question. Okay, so you guys are in charge of helping each other, just for today. Okay, not for every day, but just for today. So I'm just going to give these sticky notes to one of the people in the group, and then this one person is in charge of going and finding everybody else in the group. You might need to ask around. Okay? Sure. Amy. There you go. Manning. There you go. So go find your group. And if you don't know who someone is, you can ask me. Did I spell it wrong? Now you've learned. Ladies and gentlemen, the answers are in the back of the book, so if you need to find them, if you would like a sticky note to mark the page, let me know. I can find you a sticky note. Sticky note, anyone? Always the smallest. Multiply this. Yeah. Yeah. So you go like A, C, E, and then G. Yeah. I know weird name. plug it into the calculator, you won't know where your uncertainties are. So you have to do that first, and then just add the solution. Well, the uncertainties won't change, but you will move them so that the decimals are all lined up properly with each other. You know what I mean? Like you're making sure that the decimals are the same position in each number. Yeah. Call me over if you have questions. I forgot to hand back your test, so I'll give them back next day. I'm sorry. If you want to go to work, you can come and see me. finished the odd letters, do the odd letters. If you have finished the odd letters, then do the evens and check in with your group next day. Okay? But if you feel like you're like 100%, like if your group feels like you're at 100%, you're going to get 100% on the quiz on Thursday, you don't have to do all of them. Okay?
I was so happy when you said if your homework is odds only.
And you're like, yeah.
Oh.
But if you're feeling good about it, you don't have to do them all. Just do the ones that like you come to. You'd be adding with exponents, right? Yeah. If you're multiplying and dividing, you just chuck that into your calculator and don't worry about it. Multiplying and dividing are golden. They're so nice. When you're adding and subtracting, they both have to be in the same power of 10. Add or subtract your coefficients, and then put the power of 10 back. Yeah. Hi. Yes. Just plug it in. Don't need to do anything fancy. Isn't that great? I know, multiplying and dividing are fantastic. Adding and subtracting, pain in the butt. Yeah.
For retesting the quiz.
Any flex time you want. Okay, then it won't take you long. I don't have it ready for today, but if you wanted to, come after school tomorrow, does that work for you? Or lunchtime? Lunchtime? Okay. Come at the very beginning though, because otherwise I will forget to be here. I'll like go and have my lunch and you'll be like, hey, where is Miss Spence? Okay? Yeah.
Tomorrow at lunch.
Perfect. Hello. Hi. I don't know.
Wait, is the test already going to all grades?
Oh, you mean I'm going to take them in?
Yeah.
I have, but I haven't released it yet.
Oh,
Okay? And I don't know.
not right now. All right.
Okay? Tomorrow. Okay.
What do you mean? All are live. They go one end is slightly more because they pull the electrons more I don't think it's on average. Oh, it's on average. Okay, my bad. All right. These are.
You're gonna hate that sound soon. There is a handout for you on that back table. Go pick it up. Oh, okay.